Nearly 90 years ago, a dream was planted by my great-grandmother, Sister Clara Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. So let's continue the lesson on Sister Clara Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, staff and students of the #1 Islamic school in America, Muhammad Schools of Atlanta. Today is February 16, 2024. Please hold the hands in place for dua. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
My name is Khalil Ali. Before anything, I'm a believer, a husband, and a father. But as this school year wraps up, I'm really thinking about one of the most important jobs I've taken on. Being the principal of a private Islamic school, definitely has its challenges, but they're nothing compared to how the school system started. Nearly 90 years ago, a dream was planted by my great-grandmother, Sister Clara Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. So let's continue the lesson on Sister Clara Muhammad. Last week, we left off at a point in 1932, when she and other members of the Nation of Islam began removing their children from discriminatory public schools in Detroit, Michigan. Now, who can tell me what came next? Aisha, go ahead.
Well, the Nation of Islam community was slowly growing, and Sister Clara and other women decided to begin homeschooling their children.
We have visiting with us today Imam Qasim Ahmed, who is a religious leader in our community. Imam Ahmed, we would like to welcome you to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let us begin today's conversation by getting some insight into just why do you feel that there is a need for Sister Clara Muhammad schools?
Well, first of all, the need for Sister Clara Muhammad School expresses a general need that we find in American society really becoming more popular now, and that is alternative education from the public school system. The history of Sister Clara Muhammad School speaks to that particular need because it was birthed out of a challenge to teach your own, to teach your own, to teach your own.
Most people know my great-grandparents as the original leaders of the Nation of Islam, but they really just started out as a family from Georgia, struggling to find a new way to survive during the Jim Crow era.
She was very strong physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. She had grand integrity. She taught me to remember Allah and remember Him much.
And the next part as well.
In the early 30s, Black children suffered emotional and psychological damage in the public school.
Several concerned persons started private schools to save the children. One of the most successful of them began with members of an extraordinary group of people called the Nation of Islam. My name is Halima Muhammad Ali. I am the granddaughter of the Honorable Elijah and Clara Muhammad. When my grandparents eloped, they actually left the South, and then they moved to the Midwest. Near Detroit, they had their first two children, Emmanuel and Ethel, and then they moved again And times got harder because, that's when the Depression. So they suffered a lot and they moved around a lot. And my grandfather would just get odd jobs to take care of his family, and it made it almost impossible to make ends meet.
In the name of Allah, the most merciful, whom all praises due, Lord of the world. My dear beloved brothers and sisters, I'm happy to be here. Happy to see as many as I do, such a group of people. We pray Allah, each and every one will be happy after leaving this place, this building today.
The Nation of Islam came about as a way to fight the terror, poverty, and poor education that Black people were up against in America at that time. A key part of this movement was the doctrine of do for self. It wasn't just a slogan, it was essential to every way of life, particularly how they focused on their children's education.
Sister Clara Muhammad was threatened at that time in Detroit by truant officers and other officials to put her children back in the public school. And at that time, there were many, many negative concepts that were being taught, that the Black man or the Negro, what have you, hadn't contributed anything to education, hadn't contributed anything to world growth and development, that they were brought over here as slaves, that they were brought out of the jungles as a favor by the white man.
Because the public school was not teaching you about yourself. It was teaching you to be less than, to follow somebody else's. Even the curriculum, all those kinds of things have been structured through somebody else's ideas, somebody else's dream, somebody else's concepts of you, that you were not equal. And so she determined that she was not going to allow her children to attend public school.
When the school started out, of course, it was homeschool, and they were parents that were being arrested. The fathers, and they were being put in prison for not going to the draft, and also for not enrolling their children in the public schools anymore.
Her strength in terms of refusing to put her children in school over her dead body, these are the statements that she made, really earned the name of Sister Clara Muhammad School, because mothers have a strong tendency for wanting to teach their children anyway. And Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, paradise lies at the feet of the mother.
Our next act is going to be done by Crystal Shaheed singing Mother. Let's give Crystal a nice round of applause, especially you mothers.
Mother, mother, so gentle and so sweet, God has placed all good lives at your feet.
Mother leadership is necessary. Imam Muhammad said that man means mind, and woman means the womb of mind. And it is from the women that all life comes, all life. That means that the life of the community comes from the woman.
That's a beautiful song. And Sister Crystal singing Mother, very good.
When we put things in perspective, we were only, at the time that Sister Clara Muhammad decided that she was going to teach her children at home, we were what, maybe 60, 70 years up from emancipation. So now, here is a generation of people who still don't know how to read and write. When Sister Clara Muhammad decided that she was going to teach her children at home, she did more than teach her children. She taught adults how to read and write. So when we think about the University of Islam, that was the name that she gave it so that we can think on a higher level. We didn't think it was elementary school or primary school. We thought we were in a university to be those of higher level thinking.
I'm a little Muslim child, covered all over is my style. We are missing boys and girls. One day we'll reshape this world. He gave me two eyes to see, with a brain to understand what I read.
And grew from Sister Clara Muhammad's living room into the homes of others, and then into actual buildings and schools. So it grew from that to maybe 40, 50 schools that we had all over the country.
Okay, what are some of the principles that Sister Clara Muhammad School espouse or uphold?
Well, first of all, Sister Clara Muhammad School is an alternative school. It's an Islamic school, and its philosophy or its base is based on the Holy Quran, which is the book of the Muslim, as well as the Sunnah or life of Prophet Muhammad. And this is the two basic fundamentals that we find Sister Clara Muhammad established on.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
If we establish our goals for Arabic and Islamic studies, then I think be able to come together and create our methodologies of teaching Arabic and Islamic studies to our students.
Assalamu alaikum. I will recite Surah An-Nas. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul a'udhu birabbin nas, malikin nas, ilahin nas, min sharri waswasil nas. الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
Takbir. Good job. Good job.
Sister Clara Muhammad passed in 1972. That was a very tough time for us to lose such a wonderful woman that we loved. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad passed in 1975. And when he passed in 1975, Imam Muhammad became the leader of the community. And that was a wonderful time because now we're embracing true Islam.
And I was born to Clara Muhammad, who never received more than 7 grades education. She said, son, the highest I was able to go in school was 7th grade. And my father told us the highest he was able to go in school was the 3rd grade.
Imam Muhammad said the curriculum that we're using at this University of Islam is not sufficient enough. It wasn't that we didn't have good teachers, but the orientation was based on these beliefs that we had. And so when Imam Muhammad came in, he closed many of the schools so that we could reorganize and get a more classical curriculum. And doing that, he renamed the schools after his mother, Sister Clara Muhammad Schools. So here, Imam Muhammad was taking a step of establishing that this school is going to be named after a woman, and women can be leaders in a Muslim community. Yeah.
You have to make an investment. You have to make an investment in the future. So Allah wants us to invest in the future of our children. If we don't invest materially, if we don't invest in education, strong schools, then really we don't have much. We don't have much at all.
Unfortunately, I never got a chance to meet my great-grandmother. But if I could talk to her today, I'd ask her to pray for this little boy that grew into the man that desires to hold up her legacy alongside this community.
The mission of Muhammad Schools of Atlanta is to provide an education based on Quranic principles and their universal application. Our goal is to teach all students to accept their God-given responsibilities and full potential as we promote a nurturing environment that engages students in discovery and critical thinking.
We are the seeds that have been first planted into an exceptional environment. Secondly, watered with the best of morals. Third, given light and been enlightened. Fourth, cultivated and groomed by the excellent examples. And on this 5th day, we are being harvested to share our bounties and wealth with a waiting world.
We must step up as human beings. We must step up as caliphs to do our job. We must fulfill our commitment to Allah and become leaders.
I believe every child deserves to sing the song of happiness and success, to bloom like flowers and to be treated with delicate care. We must end the abuse, the neglect, the murder, and the disregard for our young.
So many people are lost, wandering aimlessly with no purpose. They think that the only way for them to find out who they are or to escape who they are.
We must ask ourselves, is war really the answer? Is it really worth it? The price and cost of war will always outweigh whatever victories may be gained.
Peace is compassion, wisdom, and justice. Peace is a state of mind free from intolerance and aggression.
Today's society, due to many controversy and criticism our religion has faced recently, it is essential for us as young Muslims to be filled with pride in God itself